with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of that debate. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role? What do you mean, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of that debate. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
Special good night to all our viewers on the platform. Greetings, friends. I do apologize for the late start, but I have been going through some documents that were sent to me earlier. We have some breaking news out of St. Lucia that we would want to share with you. So we invite you to share the broadcast. Also, I did not get the opportunity to share the broadcast. So those of you who have the ability, you can share. Please do so for us tonight. Again, we were not able to share the platform, but greetings, friends. Greetings. I am here tonight, and we will not be a long. Well, the night can turn out anyhow, by the way, but tonight we have breaking news there from St. Lucia, and I believe we got to let me confess to you that I was not going to come on tonight, but I got some documents that were sent over to me, and I thought in fairness to the Honorable Mr. Chastanet that I should be here on the platform to share with you this these breaking news, the development. Everything is not normal here in the studio because I was not planning to come on, and I will tell you I have a good excuse. I started preparing for planting. I normally plant every spring, and so I was getting my stuff together. I have some grape trees and other other seasoning and other things, herbs that I need to get planted here before I go over to Georgia in the next few weeks, and I suspect back to St. Lucia. So just bear with me, folks. Tonight we're going to be a little topsy-turvy, a little upside down, but share the live. Just give me a minute. Let's see if we can share, ain't it? Let's see if we can share. Yes, stay there. Let's see if we can share the live. A lot of people don't know. Folks don't know that we're on. So let's do that. Please. Let's do that. Yes. Okay. So let's get it over to some other groups. And we're not going to do the Dominica. Okay, yes. Let's see other places that we can share the platform. And by the way, there are some flabbos who are not sharing. There are some flabbos, when I send it to their page, they don't approve it. Sometimes you wonder what team we're on. We're all on the right team. We're on one team, folks. Never forget that. All right? So just bear with me as we cruise through the evening. Welcome again. Let's hoping that you had yourself, folks, a beautiful rest of, well, you have a beautiful evening. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm all over the place, but we're together, right, folks? I have a pile of documents on my desk here, pile of documents. When I tell you a pile is a pile. So just let me send over to some of my people. Yes. We are on, folks. Come on. Come on to Macedonia. Come over to Macedonia. I might send it back to the same set of people, but hey, folks, what can I say? Yes. Okay, let's get it over to some other groups. East, yes. Let's send it over to Barbados also. Yes, greetings to our Bajan friends. Yes. The movement in St. Vincent. Yes, let's share. Alrighty, so let's get to work, folks. The other folks can view the broadcast at another time and another place, but the broadcast might be too stale at the moment. But greetings, thank you for being here with us. Let's get to work, folks. Let's get to work. Let's get to working. One more thing that I got to do that I forgot to do. Bear with me, folks. Yes, where is it? Yes. Okay, one more piece of gadget that I got to put together. Yes. Let's hope that it can hold both of our devices. Yes, good. So we have a number of devices in front of us. Oh my God. Okay, so we're good now. Let's get to work, folks. Let me just get this cord away from me. So we are here. Good. All right, folks. Breaking news. We have breaking news development. Most of you are aware that there's a situation between Mr. Alan Chastanet and the Speaker of the House. Most of you would have already gotten the news, but officially here on the platform on Caribbean American News, we are sharing this news officially to you. You know that we are a reputable news organization, and we have the facts here. We show you. We take you into the belly of the beast. Yes, we take you into the belly of the beast. That's what we do on the platform. All right. So we have some documents from the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. That is in the High Court of Justice, St. Lucia, and we have here a document that was filed, just bear with us, was filed on the in the High Court of St. Lucia. It was submitted on the 9th of the 5th month, 2023, which means that it just happened sometime this week, I believe last week. So the fees were paid, and this is official documents from Mr. Chastanet to the Eastern Supreme Court there in St. Lucia, and it is a matter between the Speaker of the House and the Attorney General of St. Lucia, and we have the first defendant and the second defendant. So the first defendant here in this legal document is the Speaker of the House of Assembly, that is Mr. Claudius Francis, and we have the Attorney General of St. Lucia, which is the top lawyer for the island. That is, he is the second defendant there in this case that was filed by the Honorable Mr. Alan Chastanet. All right, so let's get into the meat of the matter. Now, the documents is fresh off of the press. It is still hot. It is hot, you see? It is hot like fire. Hot. All right? So, and it's thick. It's a lot of stuff. So, I'm going to open the line right away so folks, you can call, share your opinion, share your ideas. It is 929-586-1821. Again, we're not going to be here for very long, except there are calls that are coming in. If there is no calls, then we will cut this show. We want to have interactions here. We want persons to get involved. What I find with you Flower people, you're very quiet. Ou ka pale shy there, la pot la. Mais le nou ouve la pot la pou za pale, zo ka kouya ba couche la. Come out and talk. You all too coward, some of you. Come and talk. Speak up. Let your voices be heard. Moi-même ici a ka put toutes ces bullet like ça là, ka se way there moi. Come and talk. Let's parler aba live la. Let's kouya ba couche ek parler. An nou causer, an nou parler ou swear mais c'est crier téléphone là. You see why Anson does call us? Because nobody calling. So Caesar create answer my career. Anyway, not just Drake so I want more so my member got to PS to exo. Alright? I ain't looking for no trouble with any one of you. And I tell you, since when that's going to be my role to look for trouble.
What do you mean what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of the debate. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
So, Mr. Speaker, since when that's your role, you ending up in court so often? Imagine a Speaker of the House go to court so often. I'm going to say, ma. Anyway, don't talk about Anson tonight, brethren. Let's talk about our situation here. But, honestly, moi-même, imagine a speaker, that speaker, honestly, imagine a speaker, every weekend this man is in court. The man is like a judge for real. Me say a judge because every weekend you in court. What kind of story is this? So Mr. Guy Joseph is right when he say, Mr. Speaker, since when? I mean,
what do you mean what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of the debate. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
Now, you know what? I want to call out somebody before I move forward. I want to call somebody out. Let me call somebody out. Tonight, I suspect it's going to get very hot quickly. Let me call somebody up. C'est juste ça. C'est diffé na manger, c'est juste ça. Pas manger, diffé. Moi, tout moi recently. See, right now, c'est diffé na manger because c'est magie, c'est mon ka faire. Bêtise, yo tout yo ka faire. Ouais, c'est juste ça. Moi, même pas hold back. Man, rien ka hold back. Okay, the person who sent me the message on Facebook, on YouTube, on our private detective line, I'm going to call you as soon as the show is finished. I realize it's urgent. I will, folks, just give me some minutes. I'm getting some private information here, private from our private detective line. Folks, if you have not signed up for the WhatsApp group, you got to find it and go there. All right? We'll call after the show tonight. Okay, good. So, person, I'm going to get back to you with that urgent matter. All right? So, good. So, that's over there on our private investigation line. I told you, folks, if you have news, breaking news, anything, you can send it. You don't need to send your name. You can just send it over. Don't give me your name. All right? But there's somebody here that I want to expose. So, Jusam, we do pas direct moi. Mama here rice. Good. So there is a person who sent me a message. Let me see when this message was sent. The message was sent at 9:40 p.m. yesterday. 9:40 p.m. we were live on the air. I don't know how many of you remember that. Folks, send stars if you can, please. Our program is not free. We're not doing no free program anymore. Zoni pou pay stars. Stars nou ka ban tout moun. Si zo pa bay stars. Joella ou pa vwe yon star nou ka fire ou tale. Anyway, let's go on. So, this person sent me a private message while we were on the show. I'm going to read it to you, and I'll show you what I did. C'est juste ça, moi-même, quand moi, dit fait moi do, hein. Avant qu'il y ait moyen, c'est juste ça. So, juste, Jojo, na foute à bus là. Tout le monde à bus là. Tout le monde à bus. You're pas BF car you're under the bus right now. Bon. And by the way, I was told that the people in Denry after the program last night are shy yo can be a shy bagay right now. Ek yo ka courir like chickens without neck. So c'est ça nous vle. C'est ça nous vle. Yo sa créer boy tout yo hadi ko do ka voye vie service ça. Zo pa ni visa zo ka vi nek ve moi service ça. Hein? Zo pa ni visa. Zo pa ni visa. You check li? Zo pa ni visa. Comment est-ce que vous avez service ça? Moi même, why me? Yes. Yeah. Hold on a minute, folks. I'm getting a lot of information here. Wait till I have it. Okay, wait till I. So let's expose this person. You're all too indiscreet, out of order. Ka create phone mo. Moi ça go mon, ma be tibwai. Moi ça go nam, ça va faire bêtise cause. Hein? You will not intimidate me. Ça pas intimidate moi. Ma naïve encore. C'est juste ça, c'est diffé moi do. Let's go to the thing. So during the program 9:40 on our private line, this person sent on our on air line. The person sent me this message. Garfield, you lying just like your leader. Mama, brethren, I'm going to give you the spelling and you tell me what they're trying to say. CHASTANT. Write it under the live. CHASTANT. Because I'm going to tell you something and I want you to write what I'm going to tell you under the live. Caesar brave. Caesar ka mahe. Caesar ka mahe dife même comme moi. Just faire ça moi disant. Wait là. So here is this. The person, Garfield, you're lying just like leader CHASTANT. Pas Chastanet. Hey, my friend Laurie, hey, my crew there. Mama. So just how I do. I'm organized come. Yes, the person right, Garfield, you lying just like leader CHASTANT. Right. What's that? Chastanet? What's that? Good. But we come in. We come in. Let's fix that up, and then we have our lawsuit to take care of. All right? We have our lawsuit. When you have lawsuit, poor moon. There's a direct when I win is a high court of St. Lucia. Where my so okay, so let's go. I have an organization. Now I mean it's all straight into court. Now drag so. Anale. So kaya pon. Se sa no ni pou fè zo apwen. Where? Good. So let's go here. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming. I love all of you. And the hacks who are hiding, come in. Come in the room. Zose Nomek Fam, come in the room. Don't stay outside. Say hacks. Say just relax. Come in. Come in the room. Inside. Jump in. Good. So let's go here. All right? So listen to this. Yeah, so they said, basically the person is trying to say I'm lying like Chastanet, but the person can't spell Chastanet name and they can't write a proper sentence. But they want to give people MAPE. At least you could have write it in Creole, but you can't write anyway, so can't spell. So listen, what I did. So I quickly did my investigations. I write it. Good. I did my investigations. So the persons did it with they think I wouldn't figure out who they are, I wouldn't get a name. I wouldn't get to them. Joella, quitte moi na put di sa mo di pudi. Gotta be Jojo. Listen, so I did my investigations. Moi fè bagay, makay di so. Moi hen no moun la. Maman, no, my coffee friend is not doing those things anymore. My coffee friend is a jazz enthusiastic person. So listen. I don't know how many of you know this name. I'm going to type it in. Wait, I'm going to type it into the chat over on Facebook. All right? Matthew M-A-T. Person can't even spell the old name. T-H-E-W. Matthew Harrow. Matthew Harrow. Okay? Good. CCJ, I mean, where? CCJ. That is a person. Mina Zola. Where? Good, Millie. Now exposure. Mino. All right. Oh, you all know who? Good. Yes, good. So I'll fix you all up one by one. You want to figure out? You're trying to figure out how I got your number, how I got your name. You're trying to you try to come privately against me, huh? And I got you. So I sent a message back to the person. I said to them, please clarify and explain. So when I write the person's name, Buna just disparate. They thought that I didn't know who they were. So I'm just giving a warning. Be careful, be careful, be careful. So we'll come there. All right? Good. Let's go. So folks, so Mr. Claudius Francis was taken to court. Not only Mr. Francis, but the Attorney General was taken to court by Mr. Alan CHASTANET. Now it's a lot of documents, but the phone lines are open. The phone lines are open. I want us to discuss. I want you to tell me what is happening there. All right? What do you think of this matter? What do you think of Claudia Francis? Do you think he's biased? Do you think that he needs to be fired? He needs to be disciplined? Because I have never seen a speaker go into court every second of the day. Every second of the day he's going to court. Why? Because for some reason, I don't know if he understands the Constitution of St. Lucia. I am not sure if he understands the standing orders of the House, the rules and guidelines of the House of Assembly. I'm not even sure if he understands his role. His role. One thing I can say to him is that you are not part of the debate. You cannot insert yourself into the debate. You are not an elected representative of any of the communities in St. Lucia. Mr. Alan CHASTANET is. He was elected by the people of his community. All the other MPs were elected. Right? You are to facilitate. You are to maintain order in the House. You are not to engage in the debate. And what I realize you have been doing, you have been engaging in active debate, especially with the opposition leader. One, it's disrespectful. Two, you're out of line. You're out of order. Huh? And from the last, a matter of fact, from the time you made the statement about the bazooka thing, you should have been disbarred, disqualified, and removed from the House. Because once you made that declaration that you're going to fight with everything that you have, basically, and you will attack those who attack you without mercy, then you should have been removed. Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American Media.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes, you're on the air, caller.
Good evening. You ready to put me under the bus?
Se ukila usha se mazewe limo.
Ukila se ukila vleme boba bus la.
Awa de train na futo.
You messing with me? I taking you to court too.
High court na me no CCJ.
Okay, we all know Claudius Francis is biased, and I'm happy. And I'm happy they took the Attorney General to court. It was high time they take the Attorney General to court.
Wow. Yep.
Claudius is very biased. Very, very biased. From the very first time when Alan Chastanet won, Claudius should have resigned. Claudius is an embarrassment to the state of St. Lucia and to the St. Lucia Labour Party. Right? And he doesn't want to go down all by himself. He wants to bring down the entire SLP government down. And I'm happy he's doing it. Right?
Yeah.
Let him make space for Alan Chastanet. They're obsessed with Alan Chastanet. You know? Give the man a break. Anyway, Garfield, let me give somebody else a break.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, my friend. Yep.
Okay, have a blessed day.
Yes. So, folks, yes, here's one of our callers, regular viewers. She's spitting fire also because, and rightfully so. People should be outraged. And let's go back to the first statement that the Speaker of the House, the war that he declared on anyone who comes after him. Let's go back let's do this in chronological order. All right? Which means, let me speak a little nice. Let me just avoid the bigger words and use simple words that Tutmunsa understand. So let's put this thing into order. 1 and 1 is 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to 1. All right? The Speaker of the House declared war on any person, anyone. He said he don't care if you're a dwarf, whether you're big or you're small, that if you come for him, he's going to come for you with everything he has. That's why he used the word bazooka. In other words, he will come with everything at his disposal, he is going to use. That's what basically the man said to you. 2, when Mr. Bazooka Man had that situation with Mr. Chastanet the first time with the Privilege Committee, Mr. Speaker had already declared war on any person who basically come after him. If you embarrass him, if you hurt his feelings, if you do anything to him, that he himself is going to come back at you. Now remember that. So here's what happened. Mr. Chastanet went at him and won. That embarrassed the Speaker of the House. Because one, the Speaker of the House walks around making people believe that he's well versed with the laws of St. Lucia, the laws of England, the laws of Parliament. He's well versed with every law in the world. Basically, that's what I'm getting from him. He's a know-it-all type. Now stick with me. So he declares war on anyone who challenges him. Mr. Chastanet challenged him in court and won. Now here is Mr. Speaker using his bazooka, which is the House of the House of Assembly to get back at Mr. Chastanet. Once the Speaker declared war on Mr. Chastanet, declared war on anyone who attacks him, he should have been removed immediately by the Governor General. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Mr. Pear, should have asked or wrote to the Governor General and asked the Governor General to remove the Speaker from the House. Right away, that should have been done. Why? Because the opposition leader would step on his toe ever so often. Something, both him and Mr. Chastanet would have clashed at some point. And we saw that clash ever so often. We saw after the court, Mr. Chastanet won the case, we saw the Speaker, calm and trying to show that he's nice and everything else, and he's extending all courtesy to Mr. Chastanet. We saw that. Caribbean American News Network, you're on the air.
Good evening, Brother Garfield.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone that's hearing my voice. Brother Garfield.
Yes, my friend.
As far as I'm concerned, Claudius Francis should not be the Speaker of the House. Now, if Claudius Francis don't step down, what Philip J. Pierre administration looking for, they will surely find it. Because the reason why I'm saying that, he's an embarrassment, and you can see like the hatred he has for Mr. Chastanet. What has Mr. Chastanet done to Claudius Francis? I just cannot get it.
Yeah.
And there are people will second or rejoice in what Claudius is doing. This is not right in God's eyes.
Yes.
This is a disgrace and embarrassment for inclusion, both here and the diaspora.
Yep.
The behavior of these people in Parliament, this is not the House of Parliament. I think that is the House of, I don't even want to say it on air. Both Claudius, Healy, and Richard Frederick, they are so disgusting. Listening to Jeremiah Norbert, my God, I was very, very disappointed in Jeremiah Norbert. Maybe they give him to drink the red wine. I just cannot believe why these people have that hatred against Mr. Chastanet. I don't know. Somebody please help me.
Well, none of us know. All I can tell you is that it is blatant. All of us can see. Tout moun ki nize, you sa aware. Ex yo panize, you still sa aware that something is wrong with these people. They have a bitterness. They have, I'm not sure if I can use the word hatred, but there is something there for Mr. Chastanet, and they have not learned to put their differences aside to work in the interest of the people of St. Lucia.
They are not working in the interest of a lot of St. Lucians. Maybe they're doing it because they're giving their own people jobs. A lot of people that was working, they dismissed them, and TJP was like that vindictive government that was when Mr. Chastanet administration was in power. So what are they doing right now? TJP hour. This is really unfair. I don't even feel like going back to my country for retirement anymore. I have to think hard about that one. It's a disgrace. Shame on the SLP administration. And when you talk, people don't want you to talk. People are scared in St. Lucia, Even people in the diaspora are afraid to talk. I just cannot believe why Richard Frederick come in Parliament or join the St. Lucia Labour Party, and Richard Frederick that put all that problem in St. Lucia. Richard Frederick is the king for that. And TJP, for jab. Anyway, brother, that's you. Thanks for taking my call. Have a good night.
Thank you for calling, my friend. Appreciate it. All right, folks, the lines are open. You can call anytime. Let us know how you feel about this situation and any other matters. Tonight is open line tonight. Okay, so one of the charges that Mr. Chastanet brought against the House Speaker and the Attorney General, because you see, Mr. Chastanet had to get the Attorney General involved in this case, because the Attorney General is in the House to guide the government, to guide them on legal matters, not the Speaker. The Speaker cannot guide anyone on any legal matter because, one, he's not a lawyer, he's not a judge. So it is the Attorney General's responsibility to guide those fellas in the House on legal matters. The Attorney General is being paid by the people of St. Lucia, not the Labour Party, but by the people of St. Lucia, to protect them from lawsuits. To protect them from exactly what took place the first time and what is happening here again. That's the responsibility of the Attorney General. Why sit there as one who is being paid, a lawyer who is being paid to protect the state? Why not advise these men? Why couldn't the Attorney General just try to get the attention or speak to the Minister of Government Business and say to him, we'll have to just hold a minute, let's have a conversation on this one. Let's look at the Constitution. Why is he not advising? Or if he is advising and those fellas are not listening to his counsel, then we got to have an overhaul. We got to change them fellas quickly. Because if you're not listening to legal counsel and you keep getting the state, the people of St. Lucia into financial problems, legal problems, then, we have issues. And the problem is that all this money that are being wasted in legal fees can be avoided, All those monies can be used, brethren, to ensure that there's medication in our hospitals, to make sure that we have toilet tissues, that Miss Lorraine Hippolyte Penny and her husband don't have to go and deliver supplies to hospitals with their own monies. Look, we are wasting money. Why? Because there's a man who believes that he's a legal God and that he knows the laws, he knows the Constitution. He alone can interpret it the right way. And Mr. Chastanet, at the first clash, warned the man. Mr. Chastanet is not a lawyer, but was able to say to Mr. Speaker, you are treading on dangerous path. You are going down the wrong road. If you, Mr. Speaker, you have so much knowledge on the law, why did you make that ridiculous mistake the first time? Why? And apparently, to me, based on what I'm seeing, it looked like you guys planned this show that took place last week. Those of us who are looking in who are not too much hacks, some of us are hacks, but Mapia's hack. Mapia's hack. But listen to one of the charges, which I believe the Attorney General should have stepped in. Because when it comes to people's constitutional right, you've got to be careful. You can have a whole set of ideas about the laws in your head, but you have to look at what's on the books. Whether they make sense to you or not, you have to go by what is on the books. You must. And where there is confusion in the Constitution, just like the Bible, where you have confusion, then you want to consult other persons, like in biblical studies. You want to ask other pastors, other leaders, other religious leaders. You want to look at history to see, how should I really deal with this scripture? And that's why you have a lot of churches, because some just do their own thing, just like the speaker. And many of them get into a lot of trouble. Some of them tell you can't take blood, leave the person to die because the Bible says you shouldn't take blood. Some tell you you can do this, you can do that. By the way, some of you like to eat pork, even though the Bible tells you don't eat pork. So, mem check zo. Uchekli, Zokafe mem ko Mr. Speaker. What you all getting? All kind of cancer, sicknesses. You all have worm in your head, pig worm, because Zoka might tell my cochon. When the Bible tells you the cochon apa pour manger, mais Zoka own interpretations. The Bible say kill and eat. Manger tout bagay, use manger tout bagay. Mais ou pas manger tout bagay. Tell Zoka manger concrete, Zoka manger plywood. Where? Zoka écoute Bible. And anyway, I know for next. Let's go back on the speaker. One of them have fired up, ready to go. Right? So let's go back. So here's what happened. Jojo stop eating pork. Bon. Ou ka faire même ko speaker. Ou ka disregard constitution la. All right? So, for those of you who don't understand constitution and what's on the books to guide you, to keep you on the straight and narrow, let me tell you something. You see, rules are put into place because of years of experience, You know how you got traffic lights? Because nobody was giving anybody any right of way. People were just driving. Everybody has right of way. Nobody care. So because of years of experience years of experience and encounters, then they put the street light to help with the order on the street. All laws that you see, whether in the church, on books, anywhere, most of these laws are put in place because there were issues in the past. I am saying there might be time for a serious look at the Constitution of St. Lucia and the laws that govern the house sittings. We got to know, because now we are looking and we are seeing a lot of issues and loopholes in the Constitution of St. Lucia. Who will have the guts? Who will have the guts to say, brethren, we got to do something about it? Because one, it is time for us to allow the people of St. Lucia to select a Speaker of the House. After Mr. Claudius' experience, it means that we must have a look at how we appoint or how we get our speakers. We must put something in place also for us to decide how we're going to get our police commissioner. Because everybody is fighting, you can a lot because it's my turn, it's his turn, it's my turn. Whether you can do the job or not, it's my turn. I was there 40 years, 50 years. Moi, travaille assez, c'est turn moi. So something must be done. And that's why I say to you folks that these laws are put place, their constitutions and guidelines and laws because of years of experience. They're not just placed on books because they want to put things on books. The forefathers saw, and they had foresight. They could have seen some of the issues that we would have had in the future. And so a lot of things come in place. But let's go back. So here in this document, legal document, right? We had here, let me look at it, where the Honorable Alan Chastanet was ordered, the police were ordered by the House Speaker to stop the Honorable Alan Chastanet from leaving the House. So let's look at that. Think about it. Mr. Chastanet, let's say, and legally we can argue that, let's say, for instance, Mr. Chastanet is diabetic. He took his water pills, and so he wanted to use the bathroom. And so soon as Mr. Judge, is about to make his decision, Chastanet vle pisse. Because Speaker tell me powerful that like a palishas they got top like il PCLI. So let's supposing me say tell me powerful ek Chastane vle PC. So me say ka do boot bugla from going outside. Think about it. I pause for you to think about what I just said. Any member can get up and go outside to use the bathroom. Any member of the house can get up and go outside to take care of any other business. And remember, folks, that the House of Representatives there in St. Lucia, it is not a court. It is not a court. In the House of Representatives, you don't have a judge and lawyers. You have a speaker who preside over the day's sitting. Not a speaker who sits in a robe and judge the presentations from the representative of each community, constituency. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to call still. But y'all understand what I'm saying. But I'm just talking. So, in an attempt to embarrass, I am coming to conclusions, and I suspect might not be true. I'm just speculating, and I'm entitled to speculate. In an attempt to embarrass this brother, Mr. Chastane, the man said, "You can't leave. Officers, don't let him leave." So the question would be, under what grounds are you arresting Mr. Chastane? Because afterwards you said that you have authority over the police in the house. You said that the police have to answer to you, police officers in the house. So you ordered them, you said, and we have the record, you said, "Police, stop him from going out." So let's see here. We're going through the document slowly. Folks, call in, man. So, in the declaration here, what we have is a declaration that the first defendant had no power to order the detention. You hear the word here? Detention. In other words, the speaker ordered the police to take away the freedom of movement from the Honorable Alan Chastane. In other words, at that point, Mr. Chastane, based on what the speaker is saying, was under arrest. Because he could not have gone anywhere until the speaker declared that it was okay for him to go. So he ordered the police to stop the free movement of the Honorable Alan Chastane. Folks, think about this. And this is the Honorable Oliver Samuel presiding tonight. Caller, you on the air. Welcome, Honorable
Good
Lawyer.
evening, Good evening, Brother Garfield. How are you doing?
Nice.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air, caller. You might not hear me, but we all right. We can hear you clearly.
Yeah, good evening, Brother Garfield, and good evening to your viewers and your listeners. Brother Garfield,
yes, sir.
I'm not a legal luminary. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer or a lawyer. But from my basic, because you do not have to be, we have that misconception generally that you have to be an attorney or a lawyer to interpret law. I do not subscribe to that notion or that belief. I believe once you have common sense, you can read. That's why in school we're taught reading and comprehension. So you read something and you can comprehend, you can understand what you read. Same thing to me, and if I'm subject to correction, same thing to me applies to the law. From what I saw, the little glimpse that I had with this And it's public knowledge now, it was filed, it's public knowledge now that the leader of the opposition, Alan Chastanet, has served Claudius Francis, Speaker of the House, and the Attorney General's office a court document, at the High Court document. So a High Court matter was filed against Claudius Francis in his capacity as Speaker and the Attorney General's office. So it's no secret now. It's public knowledge now. From the little that I read, I can safely say Claudius Francis, as Speaker of the House, you are in serious, serious legal trouble. And what brings to mind is if the judge sides with Mr. Alan Chastanet, which again, common sense will tell me based on what transpired, that I would be bold enough to say that Alan Chastanet will win that court matter, and the state Alan Chastanet is awarded costs or legal costs. Who will bear that cost again? Because let us not forget, Brother Garfield and your viewers, that the last court case that Claudius Francis had in his capacity as Speaker, and Alan Chastanet filed against him in his capacity as Speaker, that's Claudius Francis. The state had to rack a bill of $75,000, $150,000, $75,000 each. And from what I'm hearing, that up to now, Alan Chastanet's lawyers cannot be paid. The state cannot pay Alan Chastanet's lawyers through the Attorney General's office. So here it is again. We have a court case, and then there's a second court case that is due to be called very, very soon. And when Alan Chastanet wins, who is going to bear that cost? When the leader of the opposition, Alan Chastanet, wins, who's going to bear that cost? And if it's the state, Claudius Francis must do the honorable thing and resign or be fired as Speaker of the House. Because failing to do that, if Claudius Francis does not resign and the Labour Party government, this incompetent, waste of time, corrupt Labour Party government does not fire Claudius Francis as Speaker, then we should call for the entire resignation of the Labour Party cabinet. Because from what we saw there in the Parliament last Tuesday, it's just totally wrong. You cannot hold somebody against their will. You cannot tell a member of Parliament that he cannot leave. You cannot be a judge. You're not a judge. The Speaker's rule, as you said, and many people have been expressing that view, and it's correct. The Speaker's rule is as a presiding officer, not as a judge or magistrate. And I'm saying to the public, if we have to demand, as right-thinking solutions, we have to demand that Claudius Francis, as of tonight, we have done it before, the government don't seem to take heed. So if this Labour Party government does not take heed and fire Claudius Francis as of tomorrow, we have to demand that the entire Labour Party cabinet resigns or call fresh election. That's my take on it, Brother Garfield, but we are in serious trouble as a country. Here it is. This government is only focusing on nice time and fete, jazz, and carnival soon to come. Whereas the hospitals are in a mess. We're hearing the blood bank is closed. People cannot get their blood samples done. And everything is in total disarray in the country. We are in serious trouble, Brother Garfield and St. Lucia. But I just want to say to Claudius Francis, if you have some semblance of dignity and integrity, do the honorable thing by tomorrow and resign. If you do not do that, then the entire Labour Party government, as we as right-thinking solutions, should demand that the entire Labour Party government resign forthwith. Brother Garfield, keep up the good work. I'm listening to you and have a great night.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Ian. Thank you for calling. Appreciate it. All right, so that was Brother Ian's contribution there. He's saying that the Speaker needs to resign, and that's it. All right, so let's look at it. And like I said earlier, folks, Mr. Chastanet's freedom of movement was hindered. His constitutional privileges was taken away from him, and it is clear in this declaration to the High Court of the Caribbean. Let's look at this. He says a declaration that the arrest or detention of the claimant was unlawful and or violated the claimant's rights under Section 3 and 12 of the Constitution to personal liberty, freedom from arrest, and free movement in St. Lucia and was accordingly illegal, unlawful, and unconstitutional. So let me just read this over. The last part says his personal liberty, freedom from arrest, and free movement in St. Lucia, and he was accordingly... Sorry, I got to read this over again, folks. So the declaration that the arrest of the or detention of the claimant was unlawful and or violated the claimant's rights under Section 3 and 12 of the Constitution to personal liberty, freedom from arrest, and free movement in St. Lucia, and was accordingly illegal, unlawful, and unconstitutional. Now, when you're talking about unconstitutional, you got to pay attention, folks. Illegal, unlawful. So we have illegal, unlawful, and unconstitutional. So the question would be now, under what law or under what power did the Speaker of the House arrest or detain Mr. Alan Chastanet? My lawyer, me, or swear moi se judge lawyer ek tout bagay. Let me foute sentence moi. Moi-même. I know they calling me all kind of name, you know. Y'all don't call me names. Y'all stay, man. Stay. This is my house. All right? I is the judge here. So, yes, he was, Mr. Chastanet, we heard it, we saw it, and honestly, when I heard the speaker said to the police officers to don't allow him to leave, I was like, this is a problem. While, you know, there are a lot of persons who are under the life celebrating, rejoicing, and I heard Mr. Stephenson King shouting out, arrest him. Folks, this is serious stuff. It cannot get more serious than this. I do not know what is happening with Mr. Stephenson King, but it seems that he really wants to see something happen to Chastanet, that he's arrested and that he's taken away. Why? I don't know. Somebody can call and tell me. Arrest him! The speaker said, I have the power, I have the power. Don't forget the police, they're under me. Arrest him. Don't let him leave. So now the question is, under what section of the Constitution or the rules of the House, or who give you the power to stop or hinder the Honorable Alan Chastanet from free movement in the House? That is the question right now that's lie before. I know what the hacks are going to do. The hacks are going to, Chastanet, run out of breath. They're going to run out of breath. That's what they do these days. They're going to run out of breath. Arrest him. We finally got him. I told you all, justice delayed is not justice denied. The Honorable Claudia sentenced Mr. Alan Chastanet. That's what you call house arrest. Mama, that's what you called house arrest. Mama, you think Mr. Chastanet is the first representative that got house arrest in the House of St. Lucia? Mama, anyway. I don't know who bailed Chastanet, but I saw him walk out, so I don't know what happened there. So the man was held beyond his will. He was held beyond his will because he disobeyed the speaker. The speaker wanted him to apologize and to take back statements that he made. Huh? Yeah, I'm just going through this, folks. Bear with me. It's a lot of pages, so I'm not going to be reading it to y'all. So Mr. Chastanet declared that he's the opposition. He's the leader of the opposition and parliamentary representative for the constituency of Miku South. And so Mr. Chastanet indicates, I am aware that the defendant was appointed as Speaker of the House of Assembly and on or above the 17th day of August, 2021. And that's why I say, folks, we should never allow our hatred to blind us or get in our path of aiding in the development of the country. And let me say something to you, United Workers' Party people. Let me say something to you all. What I observe, and I'll tell you, is that those persons who have vied for political leader in the United Workers' Party, the majority of them have always turned out to be a bunch of vagabonds at the end. You know why? Because they didn't get the position. Somebody else defeated them. You're fâché. So they go out with bitterness and anger and hatred. Why? Because they have no respect for the democracy of the party. And if they have no respect for the democracy of the party, it means that they have no respect for the democracy of the nation. And it is true. Majority of them. And that's why you got to be very careful in the selecting of leaders for your political parties, whether it's the SOP or the UWP. You got to be careful. Once they have their eyes on the leadership and they cannot touch it, they cannot experience it, you can fâché. Huh? Look at it. There's a history. Look at them. I can give you names upon names upon names of those who ran for political leader of the United Workers' Party, did not get the position, and turned bitter against everybody else in the party for not voting for them or not supporting them or changing their votes and supporting somebody else. They do not understand what democracy is all about. Period. Period. Folks, what's happening there? Is there somebody giving you all trouble? Let me know. Because Tumpani Tapu Betis, we dealing with serious matters here. We'll give you all a separate night for MAPE and everything that you all guys do. Tonight is not for MAPE. We're dealing with legal matters. Where? Yeah. Let's go. Oh, there's another live on? Tell me so I can close this one. If there's another one. I don't know. I know I come on Monday and Tuesday. All right. So the wrongful arrest or detention took place on the 28th of April. Was it? No, the statement was made on the 28th of April by the opposition leader, Mr. Alan Chastanet. Now, while Mr. Alan Chastanet was making a statement, the honorable member, Mr. Richard, was not in the house, not present. He was not there. He was not in the house. When he came into the house, Mr. Chastanet had already closed. The speaker had already said to Mr. Alan Chastanet, Mr. Alan Chastanet, you can wrap up now. You only have 5 minutes, whatever it is. I'll give you the time to wrap up. None of the other government ministers stood up on a point of order. The minister who is responsible for government business did not say anything at all. None of the other representatives said anything. They did not stand on a point of order. And as soon as Mr. Chastanet had closed his statement, his time was up. The man sat. Then the gentleman ran up the stairs, ran into the house, and he stood up. And he started talking after he was acknowledged. The Speaker of the House then asked him, "Sir, what are you doing? On what point are you standing? Are you standing on a point of order?" And he said, "Yes, I'm standing on a point of order. I'm out of breath, Mr. Speaker." And so Mr. Speaker said, "Well, that will be more reason for you to get to the point because you're out of breath," basically. So the Speaker, who is responsible for the order of the House, did not keep regular order on the 28th of April 2023. Why am I saying that? One, the gentleman ran into the house. Two, the gentleman stood on a point of, he was already standing, stood on a point of order when the honorable member was not even, had no more time. Well, I don't know the law, so it could be legal for him to do what he did. I don't know. I'm just saying that to me it looked different, it looks strange, it looks funny. It looks funny, that's all I'm saying. All right? Don't. So it was all about the Bannon's land. And let me see if I can get Mr. Chastanet's statement that provoked this whole situation. And let me see if I can just read it, because I don't have my glasses, my reading glasses. I have my camera glasses, but not my reading glasses. So let me see how we can go through this, all right? So the Prime Minister would put, and this is remarks, right? So Mr. Chastanet made his presentation to the House. Towards the end of his presentation, right, he made these remarks. So he had already made his presentation to the House, contributed to the debate, and so at the end of his presentation, his closing remarks, here is what the Honorable Alan Chastanet said, and I quote, "The Prime Minister would put this reference to corruption. So if we want to really resolve crime in this country, Mr. Speaker, it starts in cabinet. The level of corruption of members in your own cabinet has to be addressed. This situation with Bannon's, how could you have a piece of land, Mr. Speaker, that was valued in 2013 at almost $7 million, and in 2021 it was valued to be at 3.5 million. So the Speaker interjects. All right? I don't see what he said, but he interjects at that point, where after Mr. Chastanet said 3.5 million. The crime situation is serious. The government needs to address it in their own cabinet. The Prime Minister keeps on playing this game that he is the big tough guy and the buck stops with him. He would not see, we have not seen that, and we have to set the example as leaders. There's too many examples, Mr. Speaker, of members who are doing that. Mr. Speaker, thank you. And Mr. Chastanet stood down. Huh? He sat. He was finished with his presentation. Huh? So, concerning the lands at Banans, based, and let me just quote here, in the above, so in other words, Mr. Chastanet said that he's referring to the valuation performed in March 2013. All right, so he's trying to prove his point that, look, any business person, I don't mind those fellas in the house, you know. Them fellas in the house, I'll tell you, if they have land and they're going to sell that land for you, I am telling you that they are going to sell that land to the highest bidder. Full stop. No story. So Mr. Chastanet, a businessman, saying, well, wait a minute, how do you sell this land so cheap when the value keeps going up? 2013, it was valued at 7 million. 2021, it was revalued to be at 3.5 million. And you are selling this land to the first person that you heard of. You don't know the person, like you said. You have never met the person. But you are selling this land, one, to the first person that comes forward with a figure that's under the value of the property. And you are saying that the opposition leader should not question. He should shut his mouth and sit down or be arrested by the judge. Does that make sense, folks? I know a lot of you are going to come for me, but it's okay. Moi, this is the phénomène, so I'm family. So you buy your icicle for $1 and you're selling your icicle 25 cents. That makes sense, folks? For those of you who travel to America to buy things to sell, you come up here, you buy your iPhone for $1,000. $1,000 US. You will go back to St. Lucia and sell your iPhone for $1,000 EC dollars? Would you? Some of you don't understand anyway, so. So say hack stelmas are back upon. You all are so blinded that sometimes I don't know. I don't know who bewitched you all that you all just cannot understand. So back upon. Eh? So what the speaker said to Mr. Chastanet, look, you got to prove that the government is corrupt. So he kept interrupting the man, interruptions, until, you know, he told the opposition leader to sit down, basically sit down and shut up. So the opposition leader, of course, realizing what is going on, said to himself, look, I'm not going to be part of this. Took his stuff. Mr. Speaker, now, I hope you're not thinking of leaving or blah, 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 something to that effect, and then tries to stop the man from going out. Folks, the documents is available to anyone. These legal documents against the speaker and against the the Attorney General of St. Lucia. But here's what Mr. Frederick said to the Speaker. Because Mr. Richard Frederick had made some statements. He said, the Honourable Speaker, the House and the presiding officer have no intimation what land member for Miku South was referring to. Intimation. Honorable Frederick, he said, badans. Honorable Speaker, okay. Honorable Frederick, he said bananas. Honorable Speaker, so what? But get to the point of order. You were given a speech. Honorable Frederick, the point of order is, Mr. Speaker, this is a reputation of an untruth, a fraudulent representation and a dishonest deed. And I am asking the member. All right, now realize what he said. We are. Then he corrects himself and he says, I am asking the member, Mr. Speaker, to show proof of the valuation of the land to which he refers. Okay? So let's spend some little Reverend, just stay calm, all right? So let's go over again. So he's saying, I am asking member, Mr. Speaker, he's asking the member, Mr. Speaker, to show proof of the valuation of the land to which he refers. The Honorable Speaker, but member for Castries Central, you do know the rules that the member in opposition is free to make any assertion without evidence. If, however, a member of the opposite side produces evidence of the contrary, then that member is in problems. Not is not. He cannot be forced by the presiding officer to bring any document in support. At the moment, it is you who have to now bring a document providing otherwise. Honorable Frederick, very well, Mr. Speaker. I will make that document available when the House next convenes. I will and then ask the House to ask the member to withdraw this dishonest, fraudulent statement. Honorable Speaker, member, you're making statements that you have not proven, Honorable Frederick. I will, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when you bring the documents, then you can use those objectives that you're using, adjectives. Now, Reverend, I need more light. Okay, the Honorable Frederick. Mr. Speaker, I understand. Mr. Speaker, I undertake to withdraw them if they are out of place. But my point is, Mr. Speaker, on the next occasion, the member will be called to answer. If not, Mr. Speaker, we are marching him to the Privileged Council again. All right. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Leader of Opposition Business. Aside by Mr. Frederick. And this is aside, right? After Mr. Frederick sat, this is what was heard in the House. That's by Mr. Frederick. The man does just lie. The Honorable Speaker, member for Castries Central, it is out of order to refer to a member as a liar. Honorable Frederick, Mr. Speaker, I quite agree, but not when you have a clip showing 25 lies in 22 minutes. I don't know who produced that clip, but he says there's a clip showing 25 lies in 22 minutes. The Honorable Speaker, member for Castries Central, there are ways you can say what you wish to say without using the offensive word, and you know better than that. Honorable Frederick, my apologies, Mr. Speaker. All right? And so that's what you had there. So the sitting was suspended until 1 p.m. on Tuesday, the 2nd of May, 2023. All right? And so, here we go, folks. There you go. And so what we will do at another show is that we will show the entire clip in details, but we're here to let you know that the Honorable Alan Chastanet have filed legal documents in the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in the High Court of Justice against the Speaker of the House of Assembly and the Attorney General of St. Lucia. I don't know what to say, folks. Okay, so we have Justice of the Peace who signed this document, and it was submitted to the courts. So off we go to the courts. Off we go to the courts again. And you know what is sad is that the first set of monies have not even been paid yet, you know. And they're back in court. You hear what I'm telling you? The first set of documents. So what I'm going to say, right, people, is that the Attorney General, and I said it earlier, should be the one guiding the sitting of the House when it comes to legal matters. And what the Speaker needs to do, I don't know if he does it, he needs to consult with the top lawyer of the country, which is the Attorney General. Because I will tell you, this might be something that many have never seen, have not seen in politics from the time they are monitoring politics, involved in politics. This might be something that these folks, a lot of people, legal minds, have never experienced. And I'm sorry for the police officers. The truth is, these police officers were confused. They did not know what to do. Because you saw them standing there and the Speaker of the House is shouting command to them, don't let him leave, don't let him leave. Huh? Don't let him leave. The police officers are standing there like, what should we do? We can't hold on to him. What are we going to arrest him for? Why are we going to hold him? On what point? On what ground? How are we going to do that? Why should we arrest the opposition leader? Why? Why should we do so? They were confused. The Speaker of the House placed those guys in a very bad situation. Because I'm telling you what could have happened. The Speaker of the House could have just allowed the man to go and do his business, and the Speaker of the House could have done his thing in the House. Because the House sitting have gone on without Mr. Chastanet. It have gone on without him. What was different? Is it that the judge was on his feet casting judgment? Was it that? Or was it another embarrassing moment? And again, we should not be putting our police officers in these awkward positions. Supposing now Mr. Chastanet was a bad guy, and he would say, look, I'm going to challenge these police officers in court. But he did what is right. Mr. Chastanet did what was right. He went after the Attorney General of St. Lucia, the one who is responsible to guide the government legally on legal matters. And for God's sake, why did not, if that's a term, because I'm not Mr. Bazooka, why did this Attorney General, why did he not advise Mr. Francis on the first matter with Mr. Chastanet? The question is why? 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 And this is a question that many of us must continue to ask. Why did the Attorney General of St. Lucia did not do his job that he was being paid for and guide the speaker, guide the government on these matters? Why? And for some reason, you have other lawyers in the house, Mr. Anthony, all those guys. I'm not sure if Mr. Anthony just allowed the speaker to do foolishness with himself. Mr. Anthony is is a constitutional lawyer, and a good one too. So I am not even sure if Claudius is asking, or if the government of St. Lucia, if they're asking, if they're talking, if they're having conversations with Mr. Kenny Anthony on these matters. Because I would think that if you have a legal mind like the former Prime Minister, Mr. Kenny Anthony, if you have such a brilliant constitutional lawyer on your side, would you not consult him on some of these matters? Would you not listen as a senior statesman? Would you not listen to his advice? Are you sidetracking? Are you bouzoukaizing Mr. Kenny Anthony? Zoka futeyasu gege, zoka futeyasu aside? Because sometimes when you listen to his arguments, it means that you guys are not consulting with him as one of the senior statesmen in your party and in your government. Because he's on the government side. Yes, sometimes he sounds like he's independent. But things are funny. The more things change, the more they remain the same. Because Mr. Kenny Anthony sometimes comes across like he's the independent minister in the House, while Richard Frederick and the other guy, what's his name, Stephen King, both of them sound like they're SLP government ministers. You understand what I'm saying? So if you put these two ministers together, Richard King and Kenny, I would choose Kenny. Because you see, Kenny acts more like an independent candidate. Minister. When it comes to legal matter, you discover that he stands up and he cautions. When it comes to banking laws, he stands and he cautions. But the question is again, are they seeking legal counsel from the Honorable Kenny Anthony? Are they? And if not, why? Especially on matters that are constitution that has constitutional implications. If Mr. Kenny Anthony was in the United Workers' Party, I would think that Mr. Chastanet would consult him on legal matters, of course, and would be happy to have him as a legal mind to guide because he has the experience. I mean, he's an expert on the Constitution. So something is definitely wrong. I believe that the government is listening to the wrong lawyer in the House. The government is listening to the independent lawyer, the so-called independent lawyer, and they're running into problems over and over again because there is bitterness involved in decision making. Every decision seems to be mired by bitterness and hatred and vendetta and getting back at the opposition leader. And once you have that type of mix, you will fail. You will have failures. You're going to make a lot of mistakes because you are blinded by your emotions, your bitterness, your hatred. You're wanting to get back at him. And you heard it. We know what is happening. Those of us who are psychologists, you heard him. I told you all, guys. Just wait. And you see. So therefore, it means that there is this wanting to get back, wanting to damage, wanting to hurt, wanting to embarrass the opposition leader. And guess who suffers? The people of St. Lucia. Huh? The people of St. Lucia. The people of St. Lucia suffers. Because guess who's going to pay any money? And this time, God forbid, who know the amount of monies that is going to cost? Legal fees in this matter because you're dealing with two individuals. And this is going to be dragged out. Now, if they thought that they would have a by-elections because they're trying to put a stumbling block in Mr. Chastanet's path, no. Because one, we got to find out first whether this suspension order is legal. Whether the actions by the speaker, if it's legal, fine. But if it is not, then we have a problem. So the idea of, Mr. Gideon should prepare himself, or whatever his name is, prepare himself to take over Mr. Alan Chastanet's seat, not so fast. That's not how the world turns. The world might turn like that in your head, but in the real world, there is process and processes. Hello? So, I am saying, and it is time for us, those of us who pray, it's time for us to keep our leaders in prayer because it seems like the devil in hell is just riding these guys like husband and wives. I do not understand for the life of me how somebody can wake up every morning and instead of saying Jesus is Chastanet. For the life of me, I really don't understand. Everything is Mr. Chastanet. You swear Mr. Chastanet is part of the Lord's Prayer. You swear Mr. Chastanet is part of the Rosary. Every 2 seconds, Chastanet, 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 Chastanet. Every decision, how we can squeeze him, how we can embarrass him, how we can belittle him, and listen to me, they failed with the United Workers' Party and the convention blockage. Because remember in the House, Mr. Stephen King, who shouted, arrest him, is the same Stephen King who said, the people in your party will fix you. Not us. The people in the party will fix you. They will fix you. They will fix you. And when the people in the party did not fix Mr. Chastanet, then they went quiet. So it's all about getting back. Brethren, I am saying to you, si je sent li si pas du bout, ek charge gouvernement sa zafè zo kay wete there. Not even Crapo will want to smoke your pipe because a pack any pipe supply would zo kay ni. Si je Saint-Lucie pa du bout ek di se bouk sa du bout beti sa zo pouye sa. Makay pouye sa. Zo kay pouye sa. Zoni pou du bout. Ek demand better. They can do better. They should do better. So, mwen asiwe, mwen ni confidence at the does just simply see that yokai veye de ek yokai we tout se bêtises that se bouk sa te ka fe a kay se moun la. Ek yokai di nou pa kay fe sa akor. Nou kay waje za fe sa. Les zo ale pou fe ti vote zo mwen ki ka di zo sa. Veye tout sa se bouk sa te ka fe zo. Ek leader zo. Ek zo di pou send a strong signal. Même bouk sa zo ka jiwe, zo ka di tout kalte bagay. Même bouk sa nou ka mette la. Zo kay we misya ka asis a di dakay la ka debate. Ek zo kay we te a sou kote. Hein? Zoni pou send signal sa mamay Saint-Lucie. Bagay sa pa ka travay. Bagay sa zon mette la pa ka travay. Ek ouwe Philip JP Bwende se bouk sa kaz fe bouk misye Prime Minister hot because Prime Minister pa moun ki move. Ou check li? Anou koze. Misye pa bouk ki move. Me misye ni moun ki di bad manners. Adi da cabinet li. Yo pa ni mess. Yo pa ni brought up si. Yo pa ni training. Ou ka mette yo bo tabla pou manje, yo ka jwe ek manje. Yo pa ni mess. Ou ka di yo ay fe homework, yo ka simi gwen. Se bouk sa pa ni mess. Ek mwa siwe, mwe convince that se a shay se bouk sa. Ni a shay ti bagay ka kouy de yo le oswe. Se bouk sa pa right. Ek mwen de se moun sa ka fe misye Prime Minister hot. Because now the Prime Minister, I pa move. You check li? Me ini bad influence. Misye ni trop coronavirus apa mi. You ka fe hot. You ka fe malade. Huh? So let's speak English because moi ha servi tout type Creole boy mani akor. Moi même. Mani akor moi moi même.
What do you mean what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of the debate. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
Moi-même ka hot vite so. Nou ka ale. Yeah? So brethren, I'm telling you, next time, nou ka fini right now, but next time, y'all be careful. Some of you don't even pray before y'all go out and do anything. So next time, y'all prayerfully do what you all have to do. Don't do anything out of emotions. You hear me? Don't do anything out of emotions. Look at what is happening. Some of you need to write stuff. You need to document stuff. Date, time, and place. And remember it. put it on sticky notes. Stick it on your fridge. Stick it on your stove. Stick it on your bed. Ooh, you can even stick it on your husband's head or his big belly. But stick it somewhere so that you can, anywhere you like the most, stick it there so that you can remember. A subute worm. Stick it anywhere. Chicken back. Stick it anywhere so that you can remember the transgressions of Sebuksa. Utan samadu, mache bagay ale sticky note. Where? And remember, one thing you all should add on your sticky notes, zakama plywood tale. Alright? Let me read some notes before we go, folks. Let's read some notes. Monipwale, monitor, monipwale. Because moi sav, lania shy moun ki kay vin gade pou mwen. Ek mnadizo vini, ek betizo. Na kriye nozo ma hide. Ma say work on. I mean it nozo out there. Where? I mean it nozo. Let me read some comments quickly. You know we don't read comments for long. I didn't get time. Cooley James, good night. I want my good night before I call the bazooka. Cooley James, good night to you, my love. Power recall. Pa kre bazooka man because money abagay la puli a spray. Money WD-40 ek money corona spray la na spray tout se coronavirus la. Pa recall. BBDD, he's worse. Say Gregory Charles, good to have you. And Jojo, I ain't throwing Jojo under the bus again, huh? Hey, why me, huh? Let me see here. Joseph PM says he's hot. Yeah, he's hot, man. Roslyn says he's the worst PM in the world. You sound like Mr. Barbuda. And my doctor, Dr. Fletcher, says I am very happy they're behaving the way they are because if not, Flabo would stay out. So let them continue. They are the ones bringing Shas back with their careless arrogance, and that is so true. Be careful how you dig holes. You might fall in it. All right. Yes, and everybody know that the wind of change is a blowing. And ain't nothing can be done about it. St. Amy, jab they have. The PM is soft being controlled by the pit bulls. Well, I tell you something, it's easy to take down a pit bull, all right? Yeah, so don't worry about that. Henry, PJ is nothing but Prime Minister cheese sticks. Some people love cheese sticks, don't worry with that. And I want to know if they're going to love plywood. Joseph, we are still waiting for them to take Guy to court. They had nothing on Guy, please. If they had something on Guy, you had with the Guy long time, eh? And maybe Guy have more on them. That's why they would never bring Guy name up into anything. They can talk openly, but they can. That's all. That's as far as they can go. They let Guy Joseph the plea back. Yo, Guy is a yes man. Gregory Charles, you can't go yet. What do you mean I can't go yet? Amanda, how are you? Stick it on the bed. Amanda, y'all like too much drama, you know. Y'all like things. We need a hardship that is stuck out to us now. Yep. Tiny says, I won't eat plywood. I will eat fig, vet, and fig juice. Oh, bude boy. Mama, isa Muhammad eat plywood. London in the house. London, Lloyd, you should be sleeping at this time. London is in the house. Lloyd. I think I know the last name, Lloyd. But London is in the house. It's late, London. Joycelyn Fetch, my doctor. You were good undershooting that I stayed and didn't have to listen to the Pappy Show, man. Anson didn't come on tonight, but Anson is listening, but he's not coming on. Yes. Ginger B. Yes, sir. Yes. Bazooka. St. Rose, a pit bull that can't bite. Ladia shy pit bull like that. Jesus, I'm yo. Jojo, But why the PM refused to take the lady of his house out to functions? Jojo, my family counselor. So how is that my role? How is that my role? Let's go quickly, folks. But I heard there's a lot of people at Jazz. Jazz had a good turnout. Jazz have always been a big thing, in St. Lucia. Yeah, you had a lot of people internationally speak about Jazz Festival. But the problem, like Mr. Chastanet and his government said, why are we spending millions of dollars on something that has no income? Why are we spending all this money and it's a burden on the taxpayers? Why can't we take that money and invest it in healthcare and build proper homes for our poor families? Do you know that money for Jazz? Do you know the amount of people that it could have pulled out of poverty? And that's why Mr. Chastanet stopped it. It was too expensive for St. Lucia. Too expensive. Caller, you on the air. You might be our last call.
Hello?
Yes, caller, you on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Hey, my friend, how are you? Good to hear your voice.
I'm good. You mentioned something earlier on about Philip Pierre being a good person and he's just surrounded by bad influence.
Yes.
But I will tell you,
Talk to me.
if Philip Pierre was a good person, he wouldn't have been going through the tribulation that he's going through there right now.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me.
He could have had all the pit bulls around him. If he was a good person, he would never be going through what he is going through there.
I respect
and
your
God
opinion.
know,
Yes.
God knew his heart. Hence the reason God set him up for everybody to see who he is. Cold-hearted, heart of stone. That is why God put him there. There is nothing good about that man. You can see the arrogance inside of him. And these are the kind of men that put tribulation in countries, put people through separation. These are the kind of men that God put there. Those that are stubborn and they don't want to listen to his word. By any means necessary, if they have to sleep with the devil for power, they will do it.
Wow.
But whatever that happens in the dark,
Must come to light.
I will tell them, because I know they don't believe in God. Whatever that happens in the dark, my God says, it will come to light. And his wrath will hit them. And what is his wrath? God's wrath is simply putting man to shame because they do not want to listen. And he is going to put them to shame.
That's right.
And we can see it happening. That's why I keep on telling St. Lucian, pray. I too want to go out on the street. But sometimes there are some times when you see God is working, prayer is more beneficial to man than rioting.
Amen. That's true.
And when you're dealing with the devil, a lot of people, because I too in my flesh body, when I think like an ordinary man, I have that urge, I want to go to the streets. But when I listen to my God, when he speaks to me, I have to wait on him. Wait on him.
Yep.
So the prize you see they getting there, the Labour Party, it will be worse than a protest. It will be worse than rioting. But still, when God call us out to go to the streets to support Mr. Chastanet, I am calling on all St. Lucians to suit up and save the country.
That's right.
But again, I'll tell you that Pierre has nothing good in him. If you watch his attitude, you watch his body language, you listen to him, study him, that man have a heart of stone. If that man could have allowed 300 and something people to go into that COVID period we had there and kill them and have no remorse, he was the one who killed them. And had no remorse to come and sympathize with anybody. He's a good man. I ain't see good in that. And then again, look, we had another battle on our hands with the guns and everything. Did we see any sympathy from that man? Have we been seeing any sympathy from Philip Pierre regarding the insurrection that is going on in the country towards the poor people? Nada. If you think he cares, he still go and impose the taxes that Mr. Chastanet gave the poor man the relief on. And you say he's a good man? What is good about that? Sending a country into poverty? What is good about that? 2 years coming on your time and you cannot do anything to help the poor man in the country but to fool them with rum and fed so that your members can continue doing nonsense in our House of Parliament, nonsense in our country, make the world laugh at our little country, and you're good? I haven't seen the man demonstrated anything good about him, telling your supporters to go in the people's faces and tell them I beat you. That's good. Your Speaker of the House coming, telling people that he's going to use bazookas on the citizens of St. Lucia, and you cannot come and say that you denounce yourself from this thing. You good? An opposition leader, a member of parliament, is trying to give you assistance when it comes to the economy to help the poor people. You say you will take it and send it in the garbage at Dayglow. You good? Instead of taking it, you're raising the taxes, inflation. You good? What's good about that? You put marijuana in place. I saw a video circulating with some children. No, I don't think any of them was in the range of 14 and 15 years.
Yep.
Smoking marijuana next to the jazz tent in town, in Castries. You good? And I haven't heard anybody come out and make a statement about that. You good? What is good about that? I am not hearing any statements on the hospital, the state of the hospital. Nobody is saying that we're going to pump money in there to make it better because that's what you all said. You all said that you all were best readied people to take over the governance of St. Lucia because Mr. Chastanet couldn't have done it. And what are we seeing? What are we seeing? And you good? Well, God is judging them right now because I, as a human being, in my flesh, I haven't seen anything good about this man. If he was good, his constituencies would have been much better off than that. There is nothing good there. And God will deal with him accordingly. He and his entire cabinet of ministers. God will deal with him because it's not by chance that they won the election. All those that swing and they betrayed, it's not by chance. It was orchestrated that way by my God. He set them up
to set them down so that the humble individual that he appointed in 2016, he appointed him where his executive voted him in. And the people of St. Lucia voted for him in 2016 to come back and do what he appointed him to do for the people of St. Lucia, and tell them, I say they can jump high, jump low. That day will come and God will set them down. And we can see it happening already. St. Lucian, don't stop praying. Do not stop rallying around Mr. Chastanet. It's for your betterment, for the betterment of our country. Do not stop. Give Mr. Chastanet all your support. Do it in a respectable way. Do not drag yourself with the Labour Party surrogate, because they are nothing good, and you can see Satan spraying all out of their heads, insulting and cursing. Do not go down that road. But hold on strong with Mr. Chastanet. The day will come when God will set us free. Keep the faith. Have a good night, Brother Garfield.
Amen. And that was our sister, Miss Allison, and she outlined to us a number of reasons why she do not believe that Mr. Philip Japere is good. And let's go over. Let me show you how bad Mr. Philip Japere is to the people of St. Lucia. Let's go over to the screen just for a minute, all right? Let's go over. All right, let's move the lower thirds. The lower third, yes. So we're going to remove the lower third, and we're going to remove the telephone number. And let's go through some of the reason why a lot of people would believe that Mr. Pear is not good for St. Lucia. All right? He's not the right person to lead the country at this point. At this point. So let's look at it. So problem with Pear. One, new tax introduced. Now, Allison said it earlier. Mr. Chastanet eased on the 15% tax. What the Labour Party did, they added a 2.5% in VAT. That's what it is. Don't let nobody fool you, folks, that the VAT is something else. It's VAT. 2.5%. VAT in your skin. All right? Not jazz, VAT. Okay? And that's going to be in effect from the 1st of July. 1st of July, many of you will wake up and you're going to ask yourself, why am I being charged this amount of money for this product or for that product? And you will remember that it is Mr. Pear putting you worse. All right? Healthcare budget cut by $10 million. By how much? $10 million. While our nurses are leaving St. Lucia, while our nurses, the canteens are closed at night, and the nurses cannot get anything to eat if they do not walk with their own lunch. Nurses that do not have the necessary tools or environment to do their work. Nurses, my friends, who go to work, there is no medication, there is no stationaries, there is no hand towels, there is no supplies. $10 million cut from healthcare, while there is a 2.5% taxes to aid in healthcare and national security. Folks, I don't know about you, but there is a problem. All right? Let's look at this. Philip Japere to borrow over $270 million to fund the budget, but we are spending millions of dollars in jazz. So we are cutting $10 million from healthcare, and we are spending almost the same amount of money that we're cutting from healthcare in jazz festival. Watch this space. All right? Something just came out that Mr. Pear is going to extend the property tax business that we spoke about last night. Okay? And folks, that's what it is. That's what you get You also get Plywood City. No medications, Plywood City. You also have our school teachers who are going into schools that are not safe. There is no windows, like the Denry Primary School. There is no windows in the schools. It's just exposed. There's plastic bag covering the windows while we have $10 million being cut out of the budget, and we have millions of dollars being spent in the Jazz Festival, and millions more will be spent for Carnival this year. And God forbid, we don't know what's going to happen later down in the year, because all of us would expect that the economy would grow tremendously after closing down and you open it. You're going to have a lot of activities, of course, yeah? But what's going to happen is going to go up and it's going to level off. America know that too well. I'm not sure if St. Lucia's planning for the leveling off, but I'm going to say it again. It's going to go up. It's going to level off. The possibility is that it can take a nosedive and level off again. So how are we preparing St. Lucia? Instead of boasting about the percentage growth, how are we preparing St. Lucians? Mentally, by telling them the truth about what is happening, letting them know that the possibility is there that we're going to have a nosedive. Yes, there's the projection of increased activities. But those increased activities, will it impact the poor families of St. Lucia? The fishermen, the teachers, the nurses. Who is it impacting? Jazz. Is Jazz impacting our teachers? Will Jazz impact the fishermen in Denry? Or they might sell some fish. But those are the questions. Those are the questions that we must ask. So I say to you, friends, fasten your seatbelt. And according to Mr. John Compton, Lucians, watch your bread. And not only that, Mr. John Compton said, Mr. John Compton also said to you, St. Lucians, if you have old clothes, put it under your bed. Don't throw it. You know how the old people used to put all their old clothes under the mattress? You got to start doing that. All I can tell you is, Lucians, watch your bread. Folks, that's not my rule. So, good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. All right? Y'all have a beautiful... Now, I want to do something before we go. Wait, hold a minute.
For a long time, you want to be part of that. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
Okay, now, folks, tonight, right? Let me say to you, the program tonight was not one that was planned, and two, there's somebody that I want to flush tonight. I want to flush somebody tonight. I didn't even pick up my YouTube viewers. I want to flush tonight, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, you have brought us to court once again. And not only that, you have now dragged the Attorney General too. Oh, my belly, you dragged the Attorney General into your soaps. So if I was the Attorney General next time, I do boot rec Betty Zoo, I do, I see a power there, wait until I go to the bathroom. But perfect Betty Zoo is here. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, not going to be there for long, so. Anyway, I want to flush Mr. Speaker tonight. This is an honorary flush. Seeing that the Speaker wants to be a judge and he wants to be a lawyer, he's not sure whether he wants to be a lawyer or the judge. He's still confused. I know for sure he don't want to be the Speaker. He wants to be a judge. So, tonight, on behalf of Caribbean American News Media and our fans, our viewers, our well-wishers and supporters, we tonight will honor Mr. Speaker. We're going to give Mr. Speaker tonight an honorary degree. Yes, I said it. On behalf of Caribbean American News and our viewers and sponsors, we are going to give you a complimentary free flush. Mama, flush that along, Mr. Speaker. So, good night, everybody. Flabo family, you all have a good night, my people. And to all the hacks who came and hiding behind the live, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. Those of you on YouTube, on Facebook, thank you very much. We look forward to another interesting program. We have a number of other clips, and I have a private session tonight that I got to attend to with some private stuff. I would share if it's something that can be shared. I will share it with you. Of course, I will hide my source. We have the St. Jude's hospital that we're going to go back to. So again, thank you folks for being here with us tonight. It was a pleasure being here with you. Please remember to pray before you go to bed. Say your prayers, wash your face and your hand, and pee before you go to bed. Yes, I said it. Say your prayers and pee before you go to bed. Pray. Some of you don't pray. You sleep and all kind of devil coming behind you all at night to write you all. You all go and pray. Pray. Both hacks and you UWP people, y'all go and pray. Pray before y'all go to bed. Y'all going to bed too careless. Go and pray. Wash your face, wash your hand. Peace. Ik I dummy. Bon. Right. Y'all don't come under the live next week with a whole set of some of you. If y'all don't pray, don't come under the live. Y'all pray next week. God's willing, and we coming back again and we firing. Look at my head defe lenovie. Means only people put there, man. So I put there and say, y'all are not praying enough. Remember, the family that prays together stays together. Pray. All them bad dreams y'all getting of people running behind you all. Some of you thief people, cow, their goat, their sheep. You have to go and pay for it, man. That's why you can't sleep. You all hearing people goat crying at night all under your bed and sheep. Some people husband too crying under the bed. Shy bag eyes on the undo. Anyway, let me go do my business, friends. Good night and goodbye. Joella have to get up at 4 a.m. Bon, so go and sleep, folks. Good night. Good night and goodbye. Bonjour, bonsoir.